the
Yeah,
fuck?
yeah, man. They got me good. They were like,
Hey,
you're posting copywritten stuff, and here's the list of things that you could have possibly infringed on. I didn't post anything that was copywritten, man. All I do is read documents, and then I've been locked off. They didn't provide any
Oh, no
guidance in
way,
terms of
bro.
what
All
I
right, so
can
check
do.
this out.
Hmm.
that's some bullshit, bro.
That's fucked.
YouTube can get fucked. You know that?
It, YouTube straight up is on another level, man. So at the end of the day, that's one of the reasons when I started this journey on YouTube, I decided not to be monetized because I didn't want them to have any kind of control over me. And I knew one day I'd get locked off. I knew it. And I would talk to my group about it. I talked to the YouTube about that and let them know that, yo, one day if you don't see my page, this is the reason why it's gotten blown up, man. So prepare for when it comes. I expect it'll happen again.
You're muted,
What I
Cypress.
what I noticed, man, is that so when you're reading those documents, sometimes some of the documents at the very bottom in very fine print, they'll say that in order to display the information on the document, you have to have permission from the organization.
Mm.
So make sure that could be the reason why, bro, is because you could have shared like a BIS document or an IMF document, which usually it's usually not on those types of documents because they're usually some bank documents that you can like, especially the ones where you have to fill out information to download.
Yeah.
Some of them at the very bottom in fine print or somewhere in fine print usually say that you have to ask permission before you share the content.
Okay.
So that's probably why, bro. That's probably why you might have gotten a restriction.
Okay, that's cool. I'll look into that next time, though. Make sure I'm staying within these guidelines. I still have no intent to be monetized on YouTube because I'm a document researcher. I'm gonna go down those holes. If my page gets blown up, stay with me on Twitter.
Dang, bro. They pulled my man. They pulled my man off the internet for not showing your face, bro. That's why. Take your mask off, and I bet you your algorithm will come back.
Probably, you're probably right, man.
Just expose it all. Expose it all, bro. Just screw it, you know. The team needs you.
I've thought about it. It would make things so much easier. Like when we go out and connect, I don't gotta carry the mask anywhere, but like I like it. It's kind of become part of this whole persona, you know. Like when the camera's on, it's like, yo, Mr. Man's here, as opposed to the man behind the mask, you know. Because when I talk at this point, people are now listening to some grown ass man in a Spider-Man mask. You know, so it's like you're either listening because the information I'm giving you is like it's fire, and you can see beyond the mask and hear what I'm telling you about, or you can't get past it, and you probably shouldn't be listening to me anyway. So, what's the?
I like that, bro. It like it's so funny that we went out and like being with you in public with the mask on was so great.
Oh, wait. You walk around with that joint?
Straight up, man. Straight up, right through Houston, man. Right through Houston.
Bro, we were at the movie theaters. He had the thing on the whole time, bro. All I could think of, low key, was, yo, he wants some water so bad.
You asked me like 3 times, and when we got back into the truck, you were like, yo, you need some water. Definitely need some water. Kick this water bottle.
Oh man, good times. All right, well, now that we got everybody here, we're 470 people live. Blessings to you guys. Thank you for rolling and tuning in today. Myself, Aqua, man. We also got Kev on the call, who's one of our CYPRX moderators in the private Discord. So appreciate you guys for coming out. We're going to do things a little bit different, just kind of have an open discussion. Yeah, XDC is on fire. Task. We're going to talk about that too. We're just going to get into some strategy. I really want to enlighten people, especially new people that might be coming into crypto or are even still involved in crypto and are still wanting to take a proactive approach buying these digital assets while some of them are still relatively cheap compared to their all-time highs, and just talk about different strategies that we're taking, each of us, and just kind of expose the mainstream fundamental or the mainstream influencer mentality right now that's being touted out to maybe new people that's coming into crypto, to get you guys to see that what's going to create longevity for you in this space is not just aimlessly putting money in this market at random positions, and it's actually having a strategy to what you're doing. actually knowing what type of investor you are, actually knowing what type of market approach you want to take, and really being mature in attempting to build a solid, successful portfolio in these markets, because that's what it's going to take. And all of my followers and all the people embedded into the private CYPRX community, they know that to be the case. So I want to project that to the general public, because people need help right now. There's a lot of people coming into crypto that are getting manipulated by these mainstream influencers. For example, I mean, you guys know, I don't want to blast anybody, but there's been influencers where months ago they were telling people not to buy XRP. Now all of a sudden that XRP price is above $2. They want to be a bandwagoner of XRP, telling their members to buy it now when it's high. And I want to show you guys that even though I'm still buying XRP, and I'll explain how, it's like we need to enlighten people to really show them strategy, how we are still purchasing XRP more so risk-free, and well, not risk-free, but mitigating our risk, and other options that they can take and strategies that they can partake in to become successful in this space. So I really want to dive deep into that. We're just going to generally ask some questions, go through this, and yeah, we'll jump into it. So I guess we'll start off here, since each of us are XDC bag holders. Cheers to you guys, because I know for a fact y'all were buying with me back when price was well below 4 cents. So I said here, cheers to you guys. If you were with us and CYPRX was covering XDC at 2.5 cents, we have time-stamped proof. We were covering this over a year ago. And it's just really good to see hard work paying off, research pay off. You know, the Deegan plays in the crypto space, the meme coin plays, the high risk plays, they're cool and all, but when you see a utility asset that you've been doing research on for months, even years in some people's case, finally pay off, and this is only the beginning, it feels really good. So how are you guys feeling right now about the recent XDC price action?
Boy, I'm lit. I'm so lit. That's like my biggest bag, man. I did so much research on XDC, dude. Named Quincy Jones. He went crazy on it. I know, this is inevitable, but this is great.
They announced a partnership
Yeah.
with Artax yesterday. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
I've been following along with that,
and today they released some more documents talking about that. Their 2.0 upgrade, now they can burn on transactions. So
you know, one of the main things that brought my attention to XDC, I made an video about this. Like, one of the primary reasons I added it to my portfolio, and even heavier after the XDC 2.0 upgrade, is because one of the main individuals in the XDC network, his name's Sean, he posted on his LinkedIn profile how XDC 2.0 upgrade makes XDC quantum resistant. And I've done a lot of research on post-quantum and the world that's going to happen after the quantum computers are unleashed, and a lot of cryptographic blockchains and whatnot and all these things are going to be at risk to cyber attacks via quantum computers if they're not quantum resistant. So that's one of the primary reasons why I added it heavy to my bag, outside of obviously, of course, the use cases that it has and the utility real world problems that it solves in global trade finance. That's a whole nother freaking debate. But its quantum resistance metric that it just has now because of its upgrade, it's like super intriguing for a future long-term hold, considering that we are going to be in a post-quantum world, you know, in like 5 to 10 years. So
as you talk about Sean of the XDC, he's actually going to be joining me and my group in Patreon there. Every Friday night we have a town hall there, and he'll be the individual we'll be speaking with next week. But XDC, that bag, man, I played that one so well. Like, I've been taking those the call outs there you've been throwing there in the group. And also just recently, I want to say about 6 months back, I made this decision. I've been in DeFi for, I guess, since we started this whole journey there. One of the pairs I had, USDC Arrow on the Aerodrome network there, I had good money in that, and it was pumping out daily earnings for me. And I made the decision that I feel if XDC was to shoot up anytime soon, which I'm forecasting now based off of the speculation in the market right now, I can generate more earnings through XDC, holding more, like a larger quantity of XDC than I can with the actual DeFi position. So I collapsed that position, rolled it all into DeFi and here into XDC, and here we are now. I'm seeing that come into fruition. as I had planned. So it worked out nicely in my situation here.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Like I said, to see profits pay off, see investments pay off. But I honestly think that we're just getting started. Like for me, a lot of
Mhm.
investment that I do in the crypto market, because I'm an active day trader and I have many other sources of passive income. For me, these gains honestly are nothing compared to what I'm expecting in 3,
Mhm.
5 years from now. And that's just me
Mhm.
personally, you know. So I kind of want to actually talk about this. Morning, you guys. By the way, or Grand Rising. I don't know why it's still a bad habit of mine to say morning to everybody, but yes, this is live. I see people asking in the chat, "Is this really live?" Da 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 da. Yes, it is. But we're not going to be responding to comments today, just because in previous lives, like some people, they just get a little bit out of whack, and I'm not about that. So we're not going to put that bad energy in this live call. We're just here to give you guys good, solid, sound information. So appreciate you all for tapping in. Um, but I wanted to bring this to everybody's attention, and this is going to be kind of how we open up our call today. And this is a post that I made the other day, and I said, as an individual, I want to talk about strategy and like if people still want to be buying assets right now, kind of like what strategies we're partaking in, what we're looking at, what our sentiment is. Are we bullish? Are we bearish? Are we cautious heading into 2025? So on and so on. But I said, as individuals who have been telling you all and our private communities, myself, Aqua, and Mr. Man, since November 2022 to be buying crypto heavy, I don't know why this bothers me so much, but all these mainstream influencers with hundreds of thousands of followers are just now starting to tell their communities that the bull run has started. Now, I showed some examples here and I redacted their names for the sake of embarrassment, but you can see here, these are large mainstream influencers that are finally telling their followers that the bull run's here, when in reality, if you look at the markets, right, you look at the charts don't lie. Technically speaking, we have been in a bull market cycle since December 2022 when the total cryptocurrency market bottomed out at $750 billion, because logically speaking, the crypto market itself has been going up for 2 years now since that date. So the bull market's been here. Okay, the bull market's been here. Now, another reason why I say that is because like last year in 2023, certain digital assets like AGIX, Fetch AI, when the AI run happened, went to brand new all-time highs. A lot of people didn't see that because they weren't trendy assets on the internet, but that happened last year in 2023. This year, utility assets are just now starting to wake up and move. All right. And so we have to understand from a zoomed out perspective, especially if you're just getting into crypto right now. I'm not saying that now is not a good time to get into crypto, but don't let mainstream influencers allow you to be manipulated because of their postings, think that now's a good time to get into assets that have already significantly increased over the past 2 years. There are other options out there. You just need to do research. You need to learn how to take a strategical approach. And so I wanted to host today's call to kind of just go over this and get you guys to see that now all these mainstream influencers are shilling crypto to you guys. Technically speaking, I'm not saying at a top, but when prices are significantly higher than they were 2 years ago. So just be mindful of that. Be aware of that. Protect yourself and understand. For example, people that were just buying Bitcoin, FOMOing out at 100K, and then the other day during Asia session, it dropped all the way down to 92K. I could not imagine being a retail trader that put $1,000 into Bitcoin at 100K and then 2 hours later it dropping to 92,000 because I did not have a strategy. I did not understand when was a good time to plug capital into these markets. And so that's why I wanted to do today's live. All right. Because the people that you see on this call right now have been advocates of telling people to buy crypto and get involved in crypto and research crypto and crypto since back in 2022 when FTX collapsed. The researchers were the ones telling you guys that this is not a big deal and that the banks are starting to adopt crypto after this massive crash. And that was 2 years ago, right? So I don't know. What's your guys' take on that? Do you think that we're just now entering into the bull market? Or, I mean, can we somewhat agree on what I just said? Like, what's your guys' take on that?
Yeah, I like what you had to say, bro. I think we've been in a bull market. I mean, it's there in the technical analysis, loud and clear. But you know, we were telling people, you know, earlier this summer when XRP was 50 cents, when SUI was 50 cents, you were giving so many call outs to the community. There's so many past podcasts that we were talking about these assets, you know, at a super low price. And, you know, I mean, there's still a window of opportunity, but, you know, I would say you got to start learning DeFi. start learning DeFi, but I'll give it to whoever wants to chime in.
Yeah, I feel like if you're a beginner, you should learn DeFi and learn how to accumulate tokens, because you just buying and holding crypto, that's not, you're not really earning. You're just waiting on appreciation versus actually learning the whole ecosystem of cryptocurrency, not just what people are telling you to do on YouTube. So I feel like if you do the research, join the Wealth 28 Club, go through the amazing knowledge that's on there, and then learn what to do with your crypto, not just buy and hold it.
Yeah, I think we'll kind of get to that. We'll talk a little bit about strategy and how we can use DeFi right now. But I think what it really comes down to is like, I guess one of the main tips that I could give people is like, what type of crypto investor are you? Right. So like, that's what it really comes down to. People come into this market and they don't really know themselves. They don't really know what type of participant they want to be. They don't really know what type of long-term plan they have. Like they really have no strategy. They just download an application and they start buying crypto and they think that they're going to become successful. And I'm not saying that people haven't, compelled that strategy and become successful by any means, but you have to understand that you're not special and you're coming up against the smartest minds in the world and people with $1 million portfolios. And so like, if you actually want to become a millionaire, you actually want to be an individual participant in this space that's successful, you're going to need strategy. I'm sorry, but you just are. You're going to need some type of strategy, some type of strategical approach that gives you an edge. And that requires you to first know what type of investor you are, know what type of risk you can handle, right? Are you the type of person that's willing to put some money into the markets? And if you put money into the markets now, are you willing to stomach holding it if prices do pull back, right? Knowing, again, your risk tolerance. If you put $1,000 into the market right now, like, for example, XRP, and XRP were to pull back to $1, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if it did, can you stomach that, right? And if you can't, then you need to look into other options. You need to diversify into other things that have more upside potential, because you know that you can't stomach downside risk. So you need to take a mitigated risk approach where you minimize your downside risk exposure and maximize your upside potential, right? And that requires understanding about the markets and your own, again, like I said, personal approach. So I don't know, if you guys agree with that or not, but like, what's one tip, I guess, outside of that, knowing what type of investor that you are, that you would give to a beginner trader, beginner investor coming into this space to crypto, or even a seasoned participant that's experiencing their first bull market? Maybe they've been here for 3 years, since 2021, and this is their first bull market. What would you guys say or give to somebody that's listening in on the call today?
Can I say something on that? So for us here as individuals, we've been buying for quite several years now. One of the things that I had learned is you need to buy a lot of these crypto, or some of these crypto, when it's uncool to buy. I've been told that I've been shilling XRP. XRP is a shit coin. I've been shilling XDC, shilling XLM. I'm getting paid by the companies. Ain't nobody paying me to talk about these coins. Like, this is my own personal time talking about these individual coins based off of research and my own time I'm putting in to teach people about these things. So the main thing I want to say is learn about these actual assets and begin to buy them when they're not cool. Because if you're buying them when they are the thing now, or the cool thing, you're typically FOMOing in and you're going to buy somewhere near the top and get your backside handed to you. So take your time, do your due diligence, and actually spend time researching in this, because you're pumping real money into these assets here.
Sorry, I muted everybody. My bad. Go ahead, Akko. I didn't know if you were going to say something.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this again. I think, I know we were talking about this on a last call, but when you get into crypto, you just got to weed out all the bullshit too. Like, you really do. There's just so much bullshit. There's so many hype guys. There's so many fudsters that you could fall into those frontline traps in crypto. You need to get past that. And past that is where the research is at. Past that is aligning with others that also do research as well, and deciphering, okay, what am I listening to right now on this crypto YouTube video? Am I listening to an opinion, or am I listening to a bunch of like facts? Look at this, look at that type of thing. There's a huge difference, and there's more opinion out there telling you, some juicy, stuff that gets your oxytocin going, and that's the trap. That is the trap. And I would just recommend getting past that. There is so much more past that.
I agree.
And the only reason why I'm able to speak to this as well is because I've been through that. But I quickly figured out, no, that's a super trap.
Yeah.
I need to get the hell out of there. And you know what? I have to say this. I've been a profitable crypto trader, and I've been in these markets for just a little over 24 months. And I don't think I would have become profitable if I was not doing the work. So do the work. All right.
100%. I agree with you, bro. Like the fact that there is, and this is like a hidden gem. If you're new to crypto and you're watching this call right now, or if you're watching this recording, there's a wall of influencers that you have to get through that are just straight garbage. And when I say garbage, I mean they literally probably have no idea what they're talking about, and they're just making money off YouTube. And they are doing this clickbaity bullshit, price predictions or fear-based content to shake you out, because they know that that's what drives views. And so that's what they're targeting. And so just like Mr. Aqua said, there are really good researchers out there. Search for the boring content. Really, in crypto, you want to be watching the boring stuff. You want to be watching the how-to videos. Like if you go on Stellar Development Foundation, if you go on Flare Network, if you go on Ripple, if you go on Hedera's YouTube, they actually have like how-to videos on breaking down what the distributed ledger technology is, breaking down what the use cases are, breaking down all these things. And if you go look, there's barely any views. There's hardly any views on these videos talking about DeFi, talking about ecosystem developments, talking about partnerships, talking about all these things. And what you come to notice is this is all the juicy stuff that all these shillers and all these bullcrap people on the internet are not watching. And you start to tap into the real content, and your algorithm starts to change. Like if you go look on my YouTube algorithm doesn't pump out to me a whole bunch of distractions. It's Bank of International Settlement videos, it's IMF videos, it's World Bank videos, it's World Economic Forum videos, it's blockchain summits, it's all these things that have hardly any views, and that's the juicy information. So I do agree with you, bro. There's a massive wall of just bullcrap you have to get through the juicy stuff in crypto.
And think about it like this too. Those same individuals, not naming any names, but those same individuals that are now apologizing to the community, they were wrong about XRP. Well, imagine if they were doing the homework, they wouldn't be apologizing at all. You know what I mean? They'd be like something else, but they wouldn't be apologizing if they were doing the homework. It's clear that a lot of these guys ain't doing homework either. You know what I mean?
It's not that they're not even doing homework. They're just lazy. Like, dude, this space, what's crazy about this space is that unlike the stock market in the early 2000s, like people in the 1990s didn't have the ability to research the stock market evolution that was about to unfold in the early 1990s, right? They didn't prepare. They weren't prepared for the 2000s. Well, we now in the 2020s have the ability to prepare for the 2030s. And the 2030s is when all of these things, when Ripple's going to flourish, when Stellar's going to flourish, when XDC Network's going to flourish. And up until 2030, we're going to see some pretty amazing price action. Don't get me wrong, but I'm talking about full-scale development, interconnectedness on the global infrastructure level playing field. That shit's going to happen in 2030. And we can research into it right now. We can research into the developments. We can research into the partnerships and the businesses and all these connections that are going to really help push this digital transformation. And people aren't taking advantage of that because they don't even realize that they never had this ability before. And that's why it's so important to pay attention, because now for the first time ever, through literally a mobile phone and an internet connection, you have the same access to the financial system that everybody around the world does. And that is massive, bro. Like, it is so massive that people are just sleeping on this type of education and information. To literally have the ability to go read a Bank of International Settlement document is insane. That we as people have that ability, that they made that public publicly available to us, and people won't go read that document. It's crazy to me.
I mean, just speaking of access through your mobile phone too, just yesterday on the DeFi Zoom call that I shared, or that I ran yesterday, for the team, I shared a wallet that sits on Algorand that you can earn up to 135% right through your wallet. So like all you need is oh my God, man. It's wild.
It's frustrating, right? It's frustrating that there is this wall of influencers out there that are here to distract people. And I'm really happy that people are tapping it. Another thing that I think is happening right now, and you listeners, can you agree with me? I don't know, maybe if you've gone through this, but I feel like we're going through a transformation. Like the crypto industry itself and people that are involved in crypto are actually starting to realize that all these people that were trending back in 2021, like pretty much any mainstream YouTuber right now that has over 100,000 followers, in my personal opinion, is kind of garbage. Like there's maybe only like one or two good, like Waters Above Crypto. He's great. I'll give him a shout out. There's only a couple of other influencers out there that have like more than 100K followers that I would actually consider watching, because they're still stuck in this 2020, 2021 mindset. Hodl, and just like do this mainstream Cointelegraph, CoinDesk, Twitter reading research. Like they're not reading documents. They're not watching panel discussions. They're not picking apart fundamentals the way that deep researchers are. And so right now there's this transition where all of the people in crypto are starting to realize that those dudes kind of suck and they're never accurate. They're just kind of covering what's trending. And there's this drive, there's this thirst now for real research. And that's why you're starting to see the algorithm on my YouTube or Mr. Man's Twitter or Mr. Aqua's Twitter starting to pick up in terms of views, is because people are starting to wake up. When I post a video of a panel discussion of some central banker saying that the digital transformation is happening and it pops off and gets 125,000 views, it's because people are starting to like and gravitate towards real research and information, and that's happening now. So slowly over the next consecutive couple of years, we're going to see the algorithm start to favor deep researchers like us, and there is going to be a rise of sound people that take a mature approach in these markets, and we are going to be here at the forefront continuing to guide that adoption curve.
Facts.
So I'll ask this question, okay, and I guess I'll kind of just talk through, because like we kind of got off track, but again I wanted to maintain on sticking to strategy. So what to buy now that the markets are pumping, understanding that if you're new to crypto and you chase these pumps due to FOMO, for example, like let's look at XDC just now. I think it hit 10 cents today, didn't it? Right?
Did it hit 10 cents? I didn't realize it hit 10 cents.
Not 9 cents.
Maybe 9 cents, something like that, right?
Like 9.5.
So if you feel bummed out, like, you know, you didn't buy it at 2 cents and now you want to buy it at 10 cents, you know, if you're new to crypto, I guess the question is, what should you buy? What should you be adding to your portfolio? I'll give you my answer, and based off of what I'm doing, again, this is not financial advice, but what I'm doing is, since the market's pumping, I'm now zooming out to the higher time frames, and I'm looking at projects that are still at least 60 to 70% discounted from their all-time highs, and that have been developing steadily since 2020. So for example, Algo is a project that has a recorded all-time high above $3 on CoinMarketCap. And it's currently trading, I think, below 50 cents. Now, I'm not shilling Algo, and I'm not telling you guys to go out there and buy it, but I know, based off the research that I've done, that Algo has been doing nothing but making partnerships, developing and building infrastructure to integrate not only in the regulatory aspect of things, sound and compliant, but also with large financial institutions and organizations. And so when I see that, and I see that Algo is still like 70% discounted from its all-time high, well, I don't want to really be buying XDC right now because it's at 9 cents. It's only 10 cents away from its recorded all-time high. So I would start to look at projects like Algo, or again, I'm just saying Algo as an example because off the top of my head, that's what I can think about. But I would be looking into projects that are still relatively discounted compared to their most recent all-time high, and that have really good fundamentals and utility backing it. That's my strategy. What do you guys have to say about that?
No, I love that strategy. It's somewhat similar to what I'm doing as well. You know what I mean? Like I have, not financial advice, but I have over, 50 different assets in my portfolio. And, I just look at what is, discounted right now. You know what I mean? And in some cases, I'm even taking profits and putting it in to something that's discounted still as well. And just getting yield on yield and then put it back. You know what I mean? Eventually as well. So, yeah, I think multiple eggs and multiple baskets is very, very wise just for this reason, right? Because when one bag is down, one bag is up. And you could, you know what I mean? You could move around profits wisely as opposed to taking profits, turning it into fiat. There's just so many different options that you have to continue to earn in the space. So, yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
One of the strategies I'm taking a macro micro approach to this, as well as I have DeFi, as well as I have the trading strategy. And in terms of the macro approach itself, I started off with companies that adhere to ISO, the ISO standard, ISO 20022. And with that being said, like I've noticed that the trend is that ISO compliant companies and their coin offerings are in the process of moving. And this is still a speculative pump because, yeah, a lot of banks have transitioned to ISO, the ISO standard itself. But there's still the big FedWire that's coming in March 10th, 2025. And then there's still SWIFT, end of the year, November 22nd, 2025. So with that being said, with ISO being the play right now, I'm looking for individual products outside of that ISO purview. So for instance, one of the big plays I literally just aped in recently was Stronghold, because they are partnered or on the list with Nacha. Nacha's through looks after the ACH, which is governed by the DTCC, and they have not made the transition over to ISO 20022. So they are severely undervalued still. So I aped into that. That's one of my strategies, along with DeFi. Like yourself, Mr. Aquaman, I was spread out with crypto assets, and as they began to pop off, I had liquidated several positions and began to consolidate now to earn more faster, as well as I have my DeFi on the side, continuously generating profits for me every day, so I can continue to purchase crypto as well. Because I've noticed that certain projects, I'm earning more on the actual my base amount or the individual crypto project versus what I'm bringing in on the DeFi. So depending on what I'm in and the APR I'm earning, I can play back and forth. And because I'm working on a portfolio tracker or a portfolio monitor, I'm able to see whether the increase comes on the individual crypto side of things versus the actual when I'm earning daily side of things. So I can play those back and forth as well.
I have 2 slides here. First, kind of just general question is, what strategies are you using for long-term portfolio building now? For me personally, like right now with my passive income outside of crypto, with like properties that I have and businesses that I have, I'm heavier right now on cash. So I'm holding on to cash more than I was back in 2022 to 2023. And I'm putting my cash in stable coins now that the market is pumped. I'm not really heavily DCAing into projects like I was back in 2022 and 2023. Now I'm going heavy in cash as the market's pump and elevated. I don't want to be buying at highs. So I'm going heavy in cash that is earning stable coins. So I'll take my cash, I'll buy USDC, and I'll deploy my USDC on Aerodrome or so on and so forth, and just start earning like 17%. For my cash position. So that way my cash accumulation, in case the market ever pulls back, has significantly increased and compounded over time. However, the second slide that I have here for my long-term portfolio strategy is, I have this question that was asked to me the other day. I still want to buy XRP and others because I feel like I missed out and it's already pumped. What strategies are you involved in? So I want to really answer this question thoroughly, because I am still buying XRP above $2. I am still buying XDC at 10 cents. I am still buying XLM at 50 cents. I'm still dollar cost averaging in, albeit it's not as heavy as I was with my cash, right? Back in 2022 to 2023. So what am I using to dollar cost average in? I'm using the house's money. I'm using the market's money. So my positions in DeFi that I'm earning off of my passive cash positions, right? So right now I have over $35,000 in cash positions that's earning yield, right, on stable coins. And that money that I'm making, whether it's $100 a day, $50 a day, $40 a day, $200 a day, whatever it is for that day, I use the house's money that I'm making in DeFi to buy XLM for a day, to buy XRP for a day, or to buy XDC for a day. And because it's the house's money, I don't really care about what the price is. It's not my cash. It's the money that I'm making with my cash from DeFi. And that to me is risk free. So I don't really care if I buy XRP at $2.30 with DeFi money and XRP goes back down to 50 cents and I see that impermanent loss in my XRP position because it was the house's money to begin with. So I didn't really care. You get what I'm saying? So that's the strategy that I'm taking right now to answer that question. Is if I was, again, not financial advice, if I was to want to be buying right now, I would want to learn how to use the house's money to buy these assets. So that way I'm not exposing my cash to this market and exposing myself to impermanent loss in case the market decides to dump at some point in time or pull back significantly, considering that we have been in an uptrend since 2022. So for 2 years now, the market has been going up, right? It's not illogical to think that we could correct sometime soon. It's not. If you understand market dynamics and you actually look at when crypto bottomed out, it bottomed out in November, or technically speaking, November, December 2022 at 750 billion. That means that we have steadily been going up in value since December. So it's literally been 2 years. So to push away the idea of a small or major correction unfolding in 2025 is ignorance, if you ask me. It's someone that doesn't understand market dynamics and just marrying a bias. Here at CYPRX, we don't marry a bias. We don't confirm that the market's going to continue to go up or confirm that the market's going to pull back. We strategically position ourselves for either scenario. And so right now, I don't want to be heavily exposing myself with my cash into these markets because that's all my money. I would rather use the house's money if I still want to buy these assets that are relatively much higher than they were months ago, but still be dollar cost averaging and taking positions in case the market goes higher. So I'm strategizing in case the market goes lower, building my cash bag so that way I can dump dry powder into these markets. But I'm also dollar cost averaging in and continuing to build my positions in case the market doesn't pull back and we continue to go higher. Does that make sense? Hopefully I answered that in a decent way. Anyways,
yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Take on that. So what are you guys doing in DeFi right now? How are you guys using DeFi? Are you buying assets right now, or are you just remaining DeFi heavy, earning yield and putting that yield in the stable coins? What kind of approach are you guys taking a long-term portfolio building right now?
I'm actually taking an approach where I'm doing 50-50. I'm putting half of my earnings into stables and half of my earnings into positions that haven't moved yet, like Celestia. So Celestia was a lagger, so I was buying a bunch of Celestia, and then once it 2x's, I take half the profits, throw that back into DeFi, and keep the ball moving and find my next project.
I like it, man. What you got?
I rolled back. I was heavy in DeFi. I rolled back a few of my DeFi positions and utilized that, or what I had liquidated. I had thrown that into individual assets itself now. So then those can continue to rise as the speculation begins to build up.
Akko, what you got? What kind of strategies are you running right now?
Wait, hold on 1 second. Getting a phone call. My bad. I am using my XRP to be real with you guys right now. You know, I've been buying XRP since it was 30 cents, 50 cents. I think my average buy is like 40 or 45 cents or something like that into XRP. You know, I haven't taken profits. I mean, I have, but I haven't. So I've taken profits, but then I've turned those profits right back into half XRP and half BNB. There's an actual, you know, pool that I'm in right now that I'm earning every single minute, every single day the past 2 weeks, right off the crystal decks. So instead of taking profits, turning it into fiat, I'm taking those profits and getting it working for me by earning, and I'm turning that into XRP as well. So yeah, I mean, it's a lovely thing when you understand DeFi and you understand that your digital assets could be making you passive income because, you know, most people that are taking profits, you know, these past 2 weeks, most likely turned it into fiat. You know what I mean? And I don't, you know, hey, round of applause, you took profits, but you know, what is that fiat going to do for you? If you have a game plan, more power to you. But, you know, I don't think most people do. So, yeah.
No, you're 100% right, bro. Most people are going to get completely wrecked after this next market cycle because they sell back into fiat. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing. Honest to God, if you if selling into fiat is your only game plan and that's what your idea of road to riches is, then I'm going to be just straight up honest with you. That to me, if you were in my personal circle, I would look at that as a sign of ignorance on your behalf, because there is so much more potential for you if you take profits in this market cycle, or even recently, for you to grow and expand your wealth outside of selling into fiat. Now, I'm not telling you that selling into fiat is not a good idea. I, at a minimum, will at least be taking my initial profit, depositing it back into my bank account, and breaking at least even or mitigating my risk in these markets. I'm not saying that that's not a good idea. It's obviously, of course, a strategic idea to do something like that. But outside of that, selling these important, like, I can't even explain these digital assets like XRP, XLM for fiat is probably one of the most ignorant things that I could ever think I've seen on the internet. These influencers, you'll see them, like, especially it's really bad in the XRP community. You have these Twitter pages that have, like, I don't know, 30,000 followers plus, and all they do is put out $33 XRP price targets or something like that. And they give everybody this idea that selling XRP at $33 is a great idea. Okay, why on earth, if fiat is your goal, if fiat and making money is your goal, why on earth, if XRP goes to $30, would you sell it? When it doesn't matter if XRP is $1 or $30, you're going to be able to use your XRP in the future to generate you fiat. Like, that's what people don't understand. With these digital assets that we are buying now, in the future, well, I mean, you can in the now, you can use it now to make you fiat, but in the future, you're going to be able to lend, to borrow against your XRP, to utilize it in farms, to utilize it in liquidity pools, to utilize it in, hopefully, maybe we get some form of like staking through EVM or something like that, like liquid staking or something where we can like deposit XRP and something like that, right? Who knows? But that's all coming. So for you to not understand that is honestly ignorance on your behalf, that in the future, you're not going to have to sell your XRP for fiat. You can use your XRP to make fiat. Do you see how that works? So you stay rich. You stay rich. And that's why I'm telling you guys, if you are associating with people that think that selling crypto or selling XRP for fiat is what's going to make them rich, they're low key kind of, you get what I'm saying? I don't want to like talk down on anybody, but am I making sense here?
No, I mean, you make sense.
Perfect sense.
Yeah, I just want to add to that. I had a conversation with 2 of the team members from XLR, and someone had dropped information that XRP can potentially be staked within the XLR network, with at that point generate strength within the XLR network itself. And I was like, well, how does that work? And he began to break that down. So if XRP is staked within the XLR network for interoperability to generate strength within that network, that to me is next level, man. That's next level right there.
Yeah,
you could.
I mean,
that's crazy.
You can stake XLR right now in a wallet, and it's 8.8% that you can earn
on Exodus.
Yeah, on the Exodus wallet. You know, man, I forgot what I was going to say because my mind is going crazy right now. It wants to say a million things at once.
Bro, I shared that platform, Block Demon. Block Demon offers XLR staking to institutional clients, and they only offer 7.25%. And then from the retail side of things, on your mobile device, you can have the Exodus wallet attached to your Trezor, which is a cold storage wallet for those individuals that are like, oh, I don't want to get involved in DeFi because it's too risky, because it doesn't have cold storage options. That's a lie. It totally does. You can earn yield while your digital assets are on your cold storage wallet. And I do that through Exodus and staking XLR. It's pretty cool, actually. Yeah. It's very nice considering that I have a couple $1,000s invested into XLR. So
what people have to understand too is that, like, this is a yield ecosystem. Like, the reason why these institutions are coming is because they want to earn yield. like stronghold, what their whole attack is to get small businesses, medium-sized businesses and large-sized businesses as well, especially the retail side, to also earn yield like on different transactions that the business is doing. So this is all about yield. You know what I mean? Like I'm telling you, it's the wars of liquidity. Where are you going to put your liquidity at? Because we're in a decentralized environment, even playing field, and we all have the opportunity now to earn just like these institutions do. So,
yeah, bro, that's the truth. I said to everybody in a post the other day, I said, do you really think like people, you know what it is, dude? It's just a lack of ignorance. Like people don't understand that banks and institutions, they're greedy profiteering organizations. Like they are here to make money. They're not here to just buy something and hold it on their balance sheet forever, or just like let it sit there, collect dust. They want it to be earning them income. They want it to be income generating, right? Income generating. And so these assets, and the only way that institutional investors were ever going to really get involved in crypto is if that was a solution, if that was offered to them. And so really, the XRP enthusiasts that hold XRP, instead of knocking DeFi, you should be enthusiastic about it and understand that that's going to open it is, as a matter of fact, going to open doors for financial institutions to actually want to come into this space. Because put utility aside for a second, right? Okay, XRP is going to be utilized for cross-border payments in the future. It's the world global new reserve currency, whatever you think, whatever, right? Put that aside for a second. DeFi alone is going to drive its own inherent niche of utility to XRP. It's going to drive its own inherent utility and niche to XLM and HBAR and XDC from an institutional perspective. There's going to be institutions that have XDC or have XRP or have XLM that are not using it. XLM, peer-to-peer payments, XDC, global trade finance, XRP, international cross-border remittances, that don't use it for those things at all and are just utilizing it in DeFi. And when you understand that, you understand the power that DeFi brings to these utility assets that we have all been holding for years that have never had a DeFi ecosystem.
Facts, man. I mean, dude, shout out to DeFi King, my brother, my Kenyan brother. Mm-hmm. Yo, you put me on, man. I shared it with the team yesterday on the DeFi Zoom call. Algorand has one of the most beautiful DeFi ecosystems in the space right now. And oh my God, you just got to tap in with us.
I bought a lot of Algorand yesterday after your DeFi call. You hyped me up, bro. I'm not even gonna lie.
Let's go, Algo, baby. Algo is a beast. Not financial advice, but I've been going ham on some Algorand myself.
I wanted to kind of, because I know Man's got to get off here in 10 minutes. I got to get off here in 10 minutes because I got another meeting. I want to end it just kind of asking these two general questions. The first one is, are you bullish now? Do you think we're going to see a continued market movement to the upside now? Like, what's your perspective on that? I'll give you guys mine, and then you can kind of pick that apart. And then the second one, we'll end the call with this, is, are you cautious? What's your perspective heading into 2025? What kind of stuff are you guys paying attention for? So are you bullish now? And if so, why? I am. And the reason why I am bullish now is because the fundamentals are still driving risk on optimism. I'm a fundamental analyst. I'm a fundamental trader, and I base a lot of my portfolio decisions off of fundamentals. So recently in November, we saw ceasefire talks in the Middle East driving positive risk sentiment. We saw positive regulatory developments, especially the sentiment from the U.S., considering that President Donald Trump won the election. Obviously, of course, the whole thing with SEC Chair Gary Gensler being replaced, and obviously, of course, President Trump putting positive positions in the different forces all around the United States that are pro-crypto. That whole entire environment has kind of changed. Also, one of the major and key drivers of global liquidity into risk assets has been central bank positioning, and central banks on a global scale, pretty much since the middle of this year, have rapidly started cutting interest rates, which obviously, of course, makes the demand for higher yielding assets more appetizing as borrowing becomes easier and cheaper, so on and so forth. That's obviously, of course, a whole economic conundrum right there. But then on top of that, we also saw some economic stimulus from certain jurisdictions this year, like from China, from Japan. And we know stimulus tends to expand liquidity in global markets, which then therefore usually tends to roll over to some degree in risk assets like crypto and stocks, which has been reflected in the prices. And then also we've seen an increased appetite for institutional demand with the ETF inflows and more filings of future ETFs. And then also just kind of paying attention to rhetoric. I even heard an XDC network participant or our member the other day on an XDC interview mention that in 2025, they're expecting to see a filing for an XDC ETF. Yeah, bro, that would be freaking crazy.
Let's go.
So that's my perspective to answer that question. Am I bullish now? Yes. Unless the fundamentals change hands from the current stance, I am bullish heading into 2025. But I'll get into some risk factors after these gentlemen kind of just go through their current perspective, if you guys want to take that away.
For sure. I'll lay down quickly. I'm quite bullish. Like, I'm here licking my lips under the mask. For 2025, we got the Financial Accounting Standards Board coming into play with regards to standardization for how crypto is going to be utilized within balance sheets. December 15th, December 30th, out in in Europe. We got MiCA coming into play for stable coins. Canada has just come into play with stablecoins now, stating that USDC is the first regulated stablecoin within Canada. Followed by that, we have FedWire going live with the ISO transition. End of the year, we have SWIFT going live with the ISO transition. So for me, throughout the year of 2025 itself, I'm quite bullish on it itself in terms of just implementation for standards here as a regulatory individual.
Facts.
I agree with you. Aqua, what you got, bro? Are you bullish now? What's your perspective? What are you thinking?
Man, I'm super bullish. I'm extremely bullish. I'm extremely bullish still on XRP as well. You know, seeing what Bitcoin did, and my understanding of Bitcoin is different. You know, I've went over my opinion. I've shared it on past podcasts. But basically what I'm trying to say is that, dang, like Bitcoin, surpassed $100,000. I could see why. I know the value behind Bitcoin, but I also know the value behind all of these ISO tokens, XRP. You know, I'm not going to give out any Moonboy prediction prices, but Bitcoin, again, hitting $100,000 plus tells me that there's plenty of room for, assets and projects that have some real utility that are actually going to do something, that real liquidity will get poured onto that chain. You know, I'm extremely bullish. And especially for the ones that have aligned themselves with what possible regulations could look like. Like XDC is aligning themselves with regulations as well. I've read a couple things with XDC, you know what I mean? And, we know about XRP, we know about XPR, Proton, what Marshall Hayner is doing, and Metal and Metal DAO. Like, you know what I mean? Like once regulations come, I think we're going to see like people say like a flip of the switch or whatever. I think when regs come and that date comes down, like we definitely will see something, because then we're going to see real institutional money get poured in. Like, I think right now what we see in these markets, it's, I think we see the people that run these institutions, I think we're seeing like their personal money. You know what I mean? That's what
Sergey said.
Go ahead.
Do you remember that video clip? Just to agree with what you're saying, do you remember that video clip of Sergey? I don't know if you guys watched it, but I posted it on Twitter the other day. It's Sergey Nazarov from Chainlink, and he pretty much confirms what you're saying. He said, like, 2024 was the year that institutions started dipping their pinky toe into the water, right? They're starting to really adopt these assets. They're starting to really be comfortable. They have back-end teams. Like, they're ready. They're set to go. 2025 is when they're going to put a little bit more money into this space, and they're going to see, looking back, rolling into 2026, how they profited in 2025. And if in 2026, after regulations are firm and sound and in place, they look back at 2025 and they see that it was profitable, then heading into 2027, it's green light. And they're going to really start to dump money into these markets. But he was talking about over the next 3 years, what he sees, and exactly what you were just talking about. Like, once regs are clear and institutions can really start to facilitate more than a couple $1 million into this space at one given time, and then they have data after another year to go back and confirm that that year prior was profitable, then after that, they're going to open the floodgates in ways that we have never and could never have even imagined.
Facts.
Hockey stick.
Can I just intervene for a second here? So just to take you guys through a quick through the regulations. So the FASB crypto assets on balance sheet, 9 days for that. In 24 days, we have the anti-money laundering measures in EU. In 24 days, MiCA for stable coins comes into reality, which is e-money tokens and asset reference tokens. In 26 days, Canada becomes the president of the G7. In 42 days, DORA, the Digital Operation Resilience Act, comes into play in the UK. In 45 days, we have Trump's inauguration. In 54 days, we have the Davos Forum coming back around again. In 86 days, we have the OECD tax reporting implementation. In 86 days, we have IOSCO's 18 recommendations that they've been providing here for crypto. In 86 days, we have UK stablecoins consideration. In 138 days, CPMI work program and strategic properties for crypto assets. In 207 days, the finalized proposal for Basel III. In 207 days, Russia's CBDC rolls out.
Yo!
51 days, SWIFT coexistence period ends. In 360 days, Africa presidency for G20. In 391 days, crypto asset reporting framework taxation 2026 by Canada. In 391 days, Enbridge returns again. In 391 days, the final implementation of Basel III. In 391 days, Project Nexus by the BIS goes live. In 572 days, MiCA's full adoption takes place. And within that time frame, MiCA 2 will be coming out. And MiCA 2, all about DeFi.
Yo, so first of all, I want to bring to everybody's attention that you can't compete with this man. Second of all, that just shows the timeline that think about what Mr. Mann just said from a logical perspective. If you were to sell before any of those things come into fruition, technically speaking, you're selling yourself short, because even if we do see some positive price developments between now and those dates that he just said, you're still selling before full regulation. So you are selling, technically speaking, before you know what's going to happen after clear regulations come into play. In my personal opinion, it's not a good strategy. Now, outside of taking initial investments off the table or reallocating some profits, again, I'm not saying that I'm not an advocate for that. I am. But this is, again, why I have different portfolios. I have a long-term bull run bag, for example, assets that I have in my cold storage wallets that I will not touch no matter what till 2030 and beyond. Then I have a portion of my portfolio that I'm willing to touch and take profits from this next bull market cycle, specifically looking at certain assets. Like I want to pull some profit on my HBAR positions if new all-time highs are made. I definitely want to pull some profits on XDC, considering that I have a very, very large bag. So selling a couple 100,000 units of HBAR and XDC won't really hurt my position just by taking some profit, and I'll still have some good long-term bags to hold. Right? So that's my strategy more so near term. And then in the short term, every single day, I don't really care about taking profit anyways, because we've been earning in DeFi every single day, passive income into my wallet every day, $30, $40, $50, $100 a day, sometimes on a good day, $200 a day. And that has allowed me to alleviate the mindset from wanting to take profit from my long-term positions, because I've just been generating passive income, which is why, again, I stress the importance of learning DeFi. So last question to end the call. Are you cautious at all heading into 2025, and why? I personally am. Number one reason is because I showed you guys on the charts that everybody is screaming, especially in the mainstream influencer spectacle, just now the bull market is starting. I think that that is false. I think that we need to be mindful that the bull market actually started in November, December 2022. From a logical standpoint, looking at the charts do not lie. The crypto market has been going up for 2 years now. If you look at the crypto market on the total crypto market cap monthly time frame from November, December 2022 till now, crypto has been going up. So logically speaking, if the market were to pull back, it would be healthy of a correction to do so. So that's one thing I'm paying attention to heading into 2025. The second thing I'm paying attention to is President Trump policies. Everybody thinks that President Trump being in office is positive for crypto, and I'm not saying it's not. His regulatory approach and his optimistic market mood towards crypto and the US being a key driver in crypto is very positive. But his policies, for example, like tariffs on major jurisdictions that he could impose as he comes into office, could create a shift in the Fed's positioning because it could increase inflation. And if we see an increase in inflation in the United States due to President Trump's tariffs or his policies, this could create a shift in the central bank positioning via the Federal Reserve's interest rate cuts. And we could see either a pause in interest rate cuts. And what would be even worse for market sentiment and risk assets is if it led to the Federal Reserve actually having to hike rates to try to tame inflation. And so I'm not saying that that's happening. I'm just answering the question, am I cautious heading into 2025? That is one of the things that I'm paying attention to, because that will be a top signal. If we start to see the Federal Reserve hinting at a possible interest rate hike due to increases in inflation, that would be a signal that we know that most likely in the short term, sentiment's going to start to flip risk off, right? And again, that's just something I'm looking towards. Then also, any global recessionary fears, any really downbeat data that comes out from major jurisdictions like the UK, from Asia, from the United States, that sparks recessionary fears, I'm looking out towards. Now, short term, it would most likely, we would most likely experience some profit taking because economic turmoil usually tends to weigh on risk assets in the short term, but long term, it actually might be good. We might have a really positive recovery because when there's economic turmoil, central banks usually tend to print money to boost economic stimulus. And we know quantitative easing, after a period of fear, uncertainty, and doubt, quantitative easing usually comes into play. And when central banks inject liquidity into the markets, that expands global liquidity and inevitably leads to larger asset prices. So in the short term, recessionary fears could be bad, but then later on, maybe the second half of 2025, it actually ends up good and boosts risk assets. And then the last thing, and probably one of the most major things that I'm paying attention to outside of geopolitical tensions from the Middle East, Russia, and Ukraine that could weigh on sentiment, is the Bank of Japan rate hikes leading to a rapid unwinding of the yen carry trade. I personally think heading into 2025 and rolling into 2026, that is one of the biggest risks to global markets across the board. And that is if the Japanese yen carry trade were to unwind more so than it did back in the end of July, beginning of August, right? So that's my spiel on, am I cautious heading into 2025? I'm bullish now, but if any of these risk factors started to unfold heading into 2025, I would start to possibly think about reallocating some profits in the stable coins that are earning me yield while I wait for a market pullback. What's your guys' take on any of that, or just heading into 2025, what you guys are looking at?
Yeah, I'm waiting on the yen carry trade, just like you are. I mean, it's bound to happen. So just preparing myself and saving all my cash for that moment. And if it doesn't happen, no, it doesn't happen. But
I like that. What you
just
got?
waiting up, being more
cautious. Man, I think he had a meeting to go to, so he jumped off.
Yeah. You know, just having a plan A and plan B is wise. You know what I mean? You know, we don't know where the market is going to go. No one can really predict the future. All we can do is, you know, do stuff like this, look at market reports, look at sentiment, and, you know, everything that you just went over is very possible. So again, having a plan A, having a plan B is just a wise thing to do in this space. So you're on mute, brother.
100%. I agree with you, man. I think that a lot of people come into this space and they marry a bias. They think that the market only moves in one direction. And when you think like that, you tend to get wrecked. So be adaptable. That's, I guess you could say, a word of advice I'd give to anybody coming into this space is just be adaptable, remain adaptive, remain market dependent, data dependent. And if the market sentiment changes hands and flips from risk on to risk off, understand how to react to that and reallocate positions in your portfolio to benefit from that. Because if you don't, you're going to just be that bag holder that holds a digital asset that was at an all-time high. The market was clearly screaming to you, it's time to take profit, and you didn't because you lacked understanding of sentiment. and you ended up holding the whole entire ride down. I feel really bad for people that don't understand market fundamentals because they're so mentally marrying a bull run bias, and they don't understand that these larger investors than you and I, their number one goal is to mitigate risk. So if the market sentiment changes from risk on to risk off, they're not going to be aggressively buying risk assets in a risk off market environment. They're going to be jumping into safer haven plays like the Japanese yen, the United States dollar, gold or silver or bonds, right? And crypto is going to become less attractive, and that's going to create outflows of liquidity. So understand what creates those liquidity inflows and outflows by joining a community like ours, where we aggressively talk about those things. We actively update our community members all throughout the week with fundamental reports and Zoom calls. Yeah, I get it. There's a paywall to join our Discord, but that's because we spend literally hundreds of hours per month with time with our community in the private side of things, right? So, coming in and surpassing a little tiny paywall, the Discord and the information and the education that we provide in CYPRX surpasses all that, right? So that's really all I got for you guys today. 2,500 active listeners. Really do appreciate the love and the support. Just real fast, I want to just show you guys everybody's social media who was on call today. I know Kev isn't active on social media. Maybe we can get him active on social media, get him a YouTube, get him a Twitter, and get him active. We got Aqua, so I'm just going to share a screen with you guys. So that way, if you're my followers, you can actually see what Aqua's page looks like. So you can go ahead and give him a follow, and then same thing, vice versa. I'll cover my profile as well, so you guys have all the information. You guys know where to go. So here we got Aqua's profile. Mr. Aquaman, just remember that there's scammers out there. There's people that don't have it out for your best interest and are trying to steal your money. So make sure you guys are following individuals in this space with blue checks that you can actually verify. So here's Mr. Aqua's handle here for Twitter. And then he's got a link tree here. So he's got all his accounts for his water store. He's got his accounts for his YouTube, all that stuff, all that good stuff in there. We have Mr. Man on the call today. So if you guys don't know who Mr. Man is and you're one of my followers, I definitely suggest giving this gentleman here a follow. We actually got to go meet with him in person and live in Houston. We actually got to know the man behind the mask, and he is 100% a down-to-earth individual, very, very trustworthy in my personal opinion, and just a solid person in the space for research. So here is Mr. Man's page there. You guys can go check him out, give him a follow as well. And then obviously, of course, you got CYPRX. Now, instead of doing a shout out on my own platform, I just want to give a shout out to the CYPRX Research Labs official Twitter. If you guys don't follow CYPRX Research Labs official on X, highly suggest you guys go do. This is led by our head CYPRX researchers, and they're constantly dropping good, valuable information, non-biased, non-opinionated research, just straight documents, video clips from large organizations and high-end individuals in the space. Really good information if you just want a non-biased approach on what's happening in the markets behind the scenes. Okay. Outside of that, if you guys want to tap into the CYPRX Wealth 28 Club, you guys can head over to cyprxtrading.com. We'd love to have you on the team. We're still running holiday discount codes up to 20% off your first month. If you want to learn DeFi, you want to learn how to get your digital assets working for you, you want to stop being sidelined, and you actually want to learn about the markets in which you're operating in from a very detailistic perspective from individuals that have hundreds of thousands of dollars invested into the space, i.e. some of the CYPRX mentors, then come and tap in with us. We'd love to have you on the team. We're running this promo code up until December 31st for the holidays, so make sure you guys tap in. I'm going to have to update this because, honest to God, I think there's only about 15 coupon codes left. So originally there was only 30. I think we're about halfway through that, so I'll have to update you guys this, but they are limited, so make sure you guys take advantage of that while you can. And outside of that, many blessings to you guys. You guys killed it on this call. Really do appreciate you all for tapping in. Aqua and Kev, you guys got anything for the people before we head off?
Much love to everybody, and thank you for tapping in. And, I really hope to see a majority of you guys inside the Wealth 28 Club. So, yeah.
My advice to you guys is buy on red candles.
Buy on red candles. Y'all heard it first. Buy on red candles, not on the green ones. All right, everybody. Blessings to you guys. You guys take it easy, and we'll catch you all next time. Everybody have a good rest of your weekend.